Games such as FIFA, GTA, Fortnite, all these were ideally always for hardcore gamers. The year of 2018 was Fortnite's year. 2019 came Minecraft. And in 2020, not only did this game connect the hardcore gamers with the casual gamers, but the game of the year, the go-to game for 2020 and maybe the future is Among Us. So hey guys, my name is Pratham. I personally have always been a fanatic with respect to such interesting case studies. And today, the whole team and I, we feel that we can bring to you guys these kind of concepts, these kind of understanding how such companies, such industries are breaking the usual norm to bring us something worth watching, worth following. So with that being said, please do subscribe to this channel. Not only do we make educational content, but we make genuinely interesting case studies on various topics which might just either help you build your knowledge base or just something that you can learn and talk to others about. So just before we get into the actual case study about all the facts and how Among Us actually rose to the top, just in the event that you don't know about Among Us for what, maybe you were living under a rock in this pandemic, let me fill you in about what the game is. So the game essentially is about 10 players who are supposed to be crewmates whose job is to basically perform certain tasks and complete them. Out of these 10 crewmates, 2 are actually imposters. And these two, the job of these 2 people is to kill the other 8 players before they complete all their tasks. So if you've played the game, what do you like? Who do you like to be? Would you prefer being the crewmate or would you prefer being the imposter? And now the story of Among Us. So just as I get into it, let me first share a couple of interesting facts. So fact number 1, this game has 100 million downloads only on the Play Store. Forget the App Store. Second, there are daily 60 million people playing it, 60 million players active every day on this game. And third, this game has the 7th highest player count in the history of the world on Steam. So the game, what you know today, is completely different from what it was. Most people don't know that this game actually came about in 2018. In the first 6 months, the most unbelievable part about this is, in the first 6 months of its release, it had only 50 players. 50, that's literally like 5 games. And I was just talking to Rashesh about this. It's abysmal that a game at its launch can get only 50 players. That was in the first 6 months. The next 12 months, it got only up to 1,000 people playing it. That's it. And then this year is when it basically exploded with the numbers that I just gave you before. So if you don't know, if the game was not always popular, it didn't start in the pandemic and just explode. It had its rough 1.5 to almost 2 years before it became what it is today. Another major point. So do you know who I credit for the popularity of Among Us, or who Among Us should thank? They should thank Google and Amazon, because all the players in the initial days who were playing, they started streaming the game on Google's YouTube and on Amazon's Twitch. And once it came in the eyes of more influential and famous people and they started playing it, the game just took off to become what you know it is today. And to just conclude this point with even more of an amazing fact, when Among Us started, the codes for the players were only 4 digits in the beginning, 4 alphabetical digits in the beginning. And because the number of players reached such a high extent, they went from 4 digits to 6 digits to fit in all of the players who wanted to play the game. Now, if you're wondering what made this game go this viral, right? It wasn't the pandemic, first of all. Pandemic definitely was a factor that induced it. But let me give you all a breakdown of what reasons we think were the cause of this game's virality. So point number 1 is the fact that this game appeals to such a vast and broad audience that it is not restricted only to gamers or to a certain age limit, or certain age bracket for that matter, that only kids can play. Literally everybody can play, because the only skill you require is the ability to bluff. That's it. So, and this makes it really interesting. To be very honest, I have friends who, when they want to play this game, so you need 10 players. But for whatever reason, let's say they are only a group of 6 or 7, they'll call people from around literally the world if they don't have people in their immediate group, telling them, listen, please join this game. We need an 8th player, a 9th player, and a 10th player. And the game works on a networking effect. It works on a chain reaction. Those 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th players from other cities, once they play, they're going to add more of their friends to start playing the game. And that's how this whole, the amount of people required to play the game starts basically multiplying. Now, the second reason that we credit the success to this game would be to the simplicity of this game. Let me give you an idea. When you think about Fortnite, the game itself is 18 GB. When you talk about Minecraft is 1 GB. But when you talk about Among Us is 100 MB. That's 0.1 GB. Of course, the game Fortnite and Minecraft obviously have better graphics and things like that. But the reason Among Us works is because of its simplicity, of its such basic animation, the juvenile yet easy to play characters, and the entire game. Also, as an extension, this game doesn't have complications when it comes to its controls or its maps or anything for that matter. It's anybody with or without gaming experience can just drop in and pick it up, and that's the reason that the broad audience thing works in the first place, because it doesn't require literally any prerequisites in terms of skills or anything with respect to knowing how to play the game. Just start and you'll pick it up as you go ahead. And the third reason for the success of this game, multiplayer crossplay. Ideally, some player playing a game on his laptop would want somebody to join the same game through a mobile, would ideally not be, the games don't support this. Similarly, Apple or Android, laptop or your phone. Among Us is one of those few games that are compatible on all devices. And we credit this particular point to its explosive, prolific success. How does such a simple game, simple interface, simple graphics, simple plot of a game, how does it make money? So let me break it down. We have broken it down into 3 points. Number 1, on your smartphone, you can download it for free, and only thing you'll have to bear with are ads, which don't technically spam you. They come between rounds and they come every 10 to 15 minutes. So it's honestly very bearable. On the smartphone, you can actually purchase it, and the purchase price is only $5. This $5 not only gives you access to the in-house purchases such as clothing and pets, but also gets rid of the ads. Finally, on Steam, there is a compulsory $5 payment, which essentially you buy the entire game, and there are no ads, and you have access to everything in-house. Think about it. When there are 100 million people who are downloading it only on the Play Store, take any percentage of them playing $5 and you'll see why this game is able to make such money as well. So guys, in conclusion, I'd like to leave you all out with one fact, and it's actually my salute to the creators of this game. Back in 2018 when the game launched, and all through 2019, these guys were struggling to turn this game into a success. But they had so much conviction in their game, in the fact that this game had all the ingredients to succeed, that they never gave up. Even when the game was tanking, they were thinking of releasing a sequel, saying that we will somehow figure out a way to make it successful. And before the sequel released, the game took off in the pandemic. Now it's so successful that they've scrapped the idea of the sequel, and all the features that they had planned for the sequel, they're rolling out into this current version. So guys, I hope that you all enjoyed this video, learned things which you all might have not known about it. And I'd like to leave you all out with one last question. What do you think is the reason for this game's success that we have not covered? Please leave it in the comments. Thank you so much. So guys, wait. Before you leave, I'm going to leave you all with the same old. Do you know what the difference between you and a successful version of you is? The successful version of you would not miss out on subscribing to this channel today.